New developments in Congress and a story that broke right here this hour last night. House Democrats now say they will investigate Ivanka Trump for her misuse of private email, sending hundreds of emails that were government-related business, a familiar scandal. Today, Donald Trump defending his daughter, who is, of course, also a White House official.
And Ivanka's emails, why was it appropriate for your daughter to use personal email for
Just so you understand, early on, and for a little period of time, Ivanka did some emails. They weren't classified like Hillary Clinton. They weren't deleted like Hillary Clinton. There was no servers in the basement like Hillary Clinton had. You're talking about a whole different, you're talking about all fake news. So what Ivanka did, it's all in the presidential records.
The legal defense is also that Ivanka says she just didn't know the rules. Meanwhile, Donald Trump, in a story that has extra resonance tonight, called for Hillary Clinton to be jailed for her email use.
Here she is, all screwed up with her emails. She doesn't know what the hell is going on. Just look at how she's botched up her emails. Who would be so stupid to do what she did with her emails? The investigation is the biggest political scandal since Watergate. I think she should be in jail for what she did with her emails, okay?
Attorney Richard Painter served as White House ethics chief under Bush 43 and also has ran as a Democrat for Senate. Back with us as well is Neera Tanden, Clinton's campaign advisor, who lived through much of this. Richard, your response.
Well, back when I was in the Bush White House as the chief ethics lawyer, I told them over and over again, you don't use personal email for White House business. Everybody's known that. And Ivanka Trump is one more official who has chosen not to follow the rules. No, we're not going to lock her up. We're not going to have a big rally and chant lock her up like we were in Nuremberg, Germany in 1933. No, we're not going to do that. But the answer is clear. The United States government, including the House of Representatives, the FBI, and yes, Robert Mueller needs to go through that email, all of her email, and find out what is in there that's relevant to the United States government, what is relevant to Russia, Saudi Arabia, or any other foreign powers have sought to influence our government. There are very important investigations going on, and if people choose to use their personal email for U.S. government business, that should be subject to investigation. And I'm a lot more interested in what's in her email than what was in Hillary Clinton's email, where we learned about details of Chelsea's wedding and various other irrelevant things. This is a very, very dangerous situation we're in our country right now. And I also want to see what's in Jared's email, because apparently he was doing the same thing, using his personal email for U.S. government business. And by the way, he was trying to make contact with the Russians, open up a channel of communication with the Russians before Trump was even president. We need those emails, and we need them now.
Well, as a journalist, I'm equally interested in all public officials' emails, particularly the ones that aren't otherwise not cleared for review, because we learn all kinds of things. The hypocrisy, Neera, is what really stands out. We'll put up on the screen the number of Trump officials who came to office in this wave, we just showed it, that have been busted for this kind of personal email use. Ivanka, Jared, Steve Bannon, Stephen Miller, Reince Priebus, Gary Cohn. Neera, beyond the obvious, overwhelming Simpsons episode, dystopian level hypocrisy that you're living through, that I imagine Hillary Clinton's living through, that people who, and by the way, campaigns always have people on both sides that have strong feelings, people are all living through. Beyond that, because you are a policy person and a serious government type person, if I can make up a term, what do you think is the import here? What are we learning about the attitude towards public service and the rules by these individuals who've now been busted?
Yeah, so let's be very clear, just to bottom line it. Ivanka Trump's father had a 2-year campaign against Hillary Clinton in which lock her up chants based on email use. That was the scandal at the basis of all the attacks against Hillary, was how she was using private emails or using a private email account. And then Ivanka Trump comes into the White House, and Jared Kushner as well, but here we have Ivanka Trump coming into the White House, and She does exactly the same thing. And I think the reason why is because the Trump White House existed in a world in which there was zero accountability. That has changed. But what we should recognize, all we know about these emails so far is what Ivanka Trump has handed over, because as it said in the Washington Post, the White House counsel's office, another part of that story as well, didn't actually see all of the emails. They've only seen what's been handed over. And so I think that it's almost exactly like what we dealt with Hillary emails, and I thought that story was overblown. But I look forward to her hopefully testifying after an investigation and just answering the simple question of why what Hillary Clinton did deserved a lock her up chant, but why she should be any different, why we should not lock her up. Ivanka Trump.
I want you both to stay with me. I'm going to bring in Austin Evers. He sparked this all. He's the director of the watchdog group American Oversight, and he filed this Freedom of Information Act request that got some of the emails and texts out that regarded Ivanka and political appointees. What did you think you've achieved thus far with this? How did you think to look for it? We spoke briefly by phone when the news broke last night.
Sure. We started this investigation early last year just because we wanted to test whether Ivanka Trump was doing government business. At the time, they were saying she wasn't an employee and didn't have to follow any rules. So we wanted to get a sense of that. And what we discovered was, sure enough, she was doing government business, and she was doing it at least sporadically on personal email. What has come to light since then through great reporting is that she was doing it a lot. She was, quote, the worst offender in the White House. And the only reason she stopped was because my organization, American Oversight, filed a lawsuit and brought these emails to the White House counsel's attention. I view this as a wonderful example of how accountability is coming. This is an investigation we started in March 2017, litigation we filed in May 2017, and here we are on the cusp of a Democratic House of Representatives with subpoena power that can dig into this for the first time.
So you're hitting something really important, which actually dovetails with what we've been talking about all night, that while people may feel frustration as citizens and as partisans, people have all sorts of feelings about the rank hypocrisy and the total arrogant disregard for the rules. I don't know any other way to say it, given what we're watching. You're saying that amidst that is also signs that the system still works, that the court system worked, that the accountability system, despite their efforts, worked, Austin?
We have been working, and what I would say to the people who've been shrugging their shoulders for the past 20 months saying facts don't matter, they now have an opportunity to matter in a way they haven't. We've got Congress coming back into town in January. They're going to investigate. American Oversight has filed 80 lawsuits in the last 18 months, and those are all just documents piling up in the public on our website that are ready for investigators to go through. You name the issue, there's an open investigation, and finally we're going to have a venue for real accountability beyond the front page of the newspaper, which has to respond to whatever crazy thing the president does each day.
My thanks to Austin Nero. Before I let Richard Painter go, I got to get you on the other big story, the New York Times account of the attempted abuse of the Justice Department to try to prosecute Comey and Clinton. Your response to that, sir?
Well, this is the way business is done in dictatorships. You prosecute your political opponents. You prosecute material witnesses in crimes committed by those in power. You go to a rally, you chant, lock her up, directed at your political opponent. We have seen this for over 2 years with the Trump campaign and the Trump White House. Yes, there's hypocrisy. The email episode shows hypocrisy, but these are very dangerous hypocrites, and we need to have serious investigations as to what they've done to collude with foreign powers and how they're trying to destroy our democracy. And this revelation today from Don McGahn, that's just one more piece of evidence that these people do not want to function within a democratic system.
I think you put it bluntly, and we had a guest on earlier who I think was maybe just too optimistic to want to say what you just said, Richard, which is that this is autocratic, anti-democratic conduct and has to be countered as such by every force that we have in civil society. My thanks to Richard Painter, Neera Tanden, and Austin Evers. Up ahead, we have more on the breaking news, as well as what Donald Trump has been doing in response to Mueller. He just turned in his answers on collusion.